Hey guys, it's Laren. If this gets passed around and you guys don't know me, I'm Laren. I'm super pumped. All November, we're doing success stories and highlighting like badasses, like powerhouses in this company from different teams, whether they're in our team or other team, to feature their stories, give you top tips that have worked for them so that you can truly see like that this culture of Isagenix is just so amazing and the opportunity is so amazing. So I wanted to bring on one of my best friends, Chris Jackson. We've been friends way before Isagenix, and I wish we had talked before both of us did Isagenix, so we'd be on the same team. We're both kicking ourselves for that. But either way, we all support one another's success in this, and we're one team, which is so powerful. Yeah. And so I wanted to bring him on so you guys could hear about his stories, get some juicy nuggets from him. And so, Chris, welcome. I refer to him as Jackson, so I'm going to refer to you as Jackson because it's just...
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. Don't do the Chris. It doesn't.
Yeah. But I want people to hear it from you first instead of me. So will you just share your story and your success? Don't be humble. He's like uber successful in so many ways and like has the entrepreneur mindset. And will you share your success and just your story before Isagenix?
Yeah. So before Isagenix, I was definitely, I was in it for me, very much so. Money really drove me, I should say. Yeah, money really drove me. And yeah, a lot of changes, but I'll start there. I started in the nightclub industry at about 24. I'm 35 now. Started in the nightclub industry, grew up the ranks, ended up being GMs at a couple different bigger nightclubs in Denver, Colorado. And then really saw that cap that we always talk about, right? Where I'm like, okay, I can work for somebody else and I can make, 70 whatever a year, right? And I can have no life. Or I thought at the time I could build my own, and then the cap is endless, and then maybe we build another one and another one. Well, that can work. It's not residual income. And so we built one from the ground up called Epernay Lounge. When I walked in there, it was concrete floor and wires hanging out of the ceiling. And I got an investor, a great friend of mine now, and we built that from scratch. And then I realized after about 4 years, 3.5 years of doing that, I was just so tired of getting people drunk. So it wasn't fulfilling. And I moved to San Diego. What's that?
And a lot of late nights.
A lot of late nights, hard on my body, always entertaining. That entertainment runs out after like 27, 28. Like you just don't care anymore, And moved out to California, started in solar energy. And while I was doing that, Isagenix was dropped into my lap. I was not ready for it. A friend of mine came to me and said, "You've got to try this. I know that you've been big in nutrition. You'll love this. And it's all money back guarantee." And that's where I was like, okay, so I can just try a value pack, no problem. And if I don't think it's amazing, I get all my money back. She's like, absolutely. So I did it. I gained just over 20 pounds and I lost 6% body fat in the first 2.5 months.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, and that's where I've stayed. I've literally been, 205 and it dropped from 15% down to about 9% body fat. And that's where I've stayed for 2.5 years now. So it's been a huge blessing. And
Melissa Reed's the one that introduced you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Did she even tell you about the business part of it up front, or was it all products?
I didn't really. She told me that the way that she was explaining it to me, I was like, okay, you're making it sound like it's really cool for products, yeah. But I wasn't really sure of what else was going on, and I really didn't care, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily looking for other things.
Yeah.
I was like, solar is what I'm going to do, and I'm so ADD, and I'm such a streamlined person that I can't handle a lot of bandwidth. I'm not great at doing 4 to 5 things. I'm great at doing 1 or 2.
Yeah.
At a time.
Yeah.
So from then on, we grew it, man. We jumped in, got a couple thousand people on my team now, a couple years later, but it took me a while. It took me, 3-4 months to really dive in, and I missed some of the first bonuses, and then when I was like, okay, this is what this is about.
Yeah, because that's what I remember is, because I was doing it super part-time, and we had talked, and I found out you were doing Isagenix, and it sounded like the second you did see that and had that light bulb on what it could do, you dove 100% in and just started reaching out to everybody and did really, really well once you committed.
Yeah, I first had to shed what people thought of you, right? Because there were some people that were, and you totally relate, there were some people that were like, is this really what you're doing? And like, are you doing okay? And like, but I just knew that I knew in my gut. I was like, even if it's just $400 or $600 coming in a week, it's when I'm out doing solar, that's still $400 or $600 just coming in.
I love that you just said that too, because both of us were really successful. And what I really love training people on though right now, there's a difference between financial success and financial freedom. But when people question that, like, oh, you're doing network marketing now, like, oh, do you need more money? And that wasn't the case. What was your response to those people? Because I think that can really help a lot of other people who are like really successful, but they don't want to be known for that either.
Yeah, absolutely. The difference is one-time sale versus getting paid all the time, right? So one-time sale is, and I'm not going to name professions. I'm being really careful with that these days. I'll use realtors though. We'll use realtors because it's not, there can be some residual in real estate, right? But most realtors, they make the sale, just like solar energy. You go, you make the sale. Once the sale's done, you get the money, and then that's it. Then you have to go make another sale with another person. You don't keep getting paid on that first person. And so that's where the magic is in network marketing. What I would hope people would really understand from this is if you create it once and you do it the right way with that person, they can be somebody that you grow with forever. Mm-hmm. And then that translates into getting paid forever. So I was just talking to Lisa DeMaio. We did that together. And I mean, she was saying the same thing. She's like, there's so many people that I just don't even have to check on anymore that are just unbelievable leaders. And they just came out of nowhere. She's like, one of my main, I want to be careful because I can't remember if she's a bartender or a school teacher, but it was somebody that she was like, they didn't have any sort of network marketing background. They haven't run big, like Fortune 500 companies, She was like, I was just amazed because her leadership was something so different than I ever expected, and then she's like, and some of the people that are the Fortune 500, like they just are like, yeah.
But it is so fascinating too. And that's why we keep saying like, just stay with it because you never know who's going to join you on this. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow it could just be one leader joins your company that completely shifts everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've done so much research in network marketing, because for me too, like I was so laser focused in like the beauty industry, like I'd never even looked into network marketing. I didn't even know anything about it. I remember when my Isagenix box came and it had all the information about the business and I was like, I just tossed it aside because my mind wasn't there. But now that you've done the research, what are your favorite parts about network marketing that have been like the game changer for you?
Probably one of my favorite questions. So I'm glad that you asked that.
Yeah.
And here is I don't know how many people will see this, but this should be like, record this, screen record it, send it to your people. You want to look for two things. You want to look for no inventory. So you're not selling it out of your garage, right? And a low buy-in. A lot of companies are like, spend $5,000 and you can hop in our company, spend $10,000 and you can, right? The beauty of this is that there's a low buy-in and your only overhead is what you're eating. And that to me, now you're reallocating your money, right, that you're spending on food to eat less of whole foods and more of our food, right? So, and I'm just saying like eat less of groceries. That's what I mean. So now you're reallocating your money for two separate meals that now you don't have to think about. And it's the best nutrients and you're spending less than $3 per meal to get that in your body. Like those two things alone, where you can build a team from anywhere remotely. It doesn't matter if you're huge into traveling. It doesn't matter if you live in Mexico now, right? Like I'm working with Q and it's super fun because he's in Mexico taking care of this little villa and he just basically designates an hour, a couple of signups, we start moving them, right? And it's really exciting. So back to the question though, I mean, I think it's just those two things. There's nothing better because you don't have to have this inventory. You don't have to sell it out of your garage and there's a very low buy-in. So.
Well, yeah. And like, think of all the influencers that are promoting like 20 different products and they're getting paid nothing. And I was talking to like even a girl that does online coaching and she creates meal plans for people. And I'm like, does the grocery store pay you back for that? Like for those referrals? And she's like, well, no. And I'm like, and then when you create this whole meal plan for this girl and your client, and now she gives it to 10 of her friends and now you just help them lose weight and you don't even know. And she's like, oh shit, but people don't think like that. So it's so much of it's just like education.
Completely true. And people don't know that. Like everybody, it's hard for people to see in network marketing the long-term play.
Yes.
Everybody wants the upfront money and they want it right away. And here's the deal. Like you just said, I met with a girl the other day and she's like, yeah, I'm doing all right. But I've got this business coach and I'm paying her a couple thousand and I've got, this and this. And my business coach said I need to now up my prices with my, 14 clients or whatever. And I said, cool. Tell me and she was completely against network marketing. And I said, who have you worked with? And she's like, I've never done it before, but it's just not for me. And I was like, why? And she's like, I just don't want to make money. Like it's too expensive for a lot of the products. And she's like, and I just don't want to make money off my friends. And I smiled and just went, okay, no worries. And then I said, do you mind me asking, like how much do you spend for your programs for your people? And there's no product involved, right? Like you're just giving them workouts. And she's like, yeah, but they're taking a lot of my time because they can text me whenever, this and this and that, right? But still no food. So you still have to go to the grocery store and spend the money on that. She said, it's $2,000 for 3 months per person. And I said, so it's just a $2,000 for 3 months plan. Break that down. That's what, $700 a month. And you're not even getting food. And then I'm listening to, I don't want to make money off my people.
Yes.
And network marketing is too expensive. And I'm like, hi, like I literally spend $170 a month.
Yes.
And now I have 2 meals a day that I don't need to worry about.
Yep.
Like it's just, and
or people just say, I don't want to sell. And it's like, everything is everything is being sold, an idea, a person, a product, a service. Like even that person you're talking about, she's selling her services. So you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's funny how that's seen. There was a hairstylist that was like, I just don't want to sell on my friends. So when your friends come into your salon, you just give it to them for free. And she's like, well, no, that's different. And I was like, I don't understand how.
My top leaders are all hairstylists and they're crushing it because they have the power of the people sitting right in front of them that want and are seeking change and want to feel good, and it's like the second you flip that mindset, it changes everything.
And that's a beautiful industry because you all or the stylists, I mean, you guys are literally like Dr. Phil plus hairstylist in one. And you match that together and you're getting to the root of people's whys very fast.
Very fast. And it's all transformation, beauty from the inside out. What's your favorite thing about like the culture of Isagenix? Because I think too, like we can talk all day about the business, the finances, the products, but I also think the community and the culture and the leadership are the biggest assets that we have as well.
So this is also a great question. I want people to understand a lot of the people that will come in your business, if you just stick with it, are people you would have never met before. And they're not people that you necessarily brought in. Mm-hmm. Right? Like a lot of my friends these days are people that I would have never met. Somebody said, well, and I'm sure you got this too. Well, you had a great network and you had a big Facebook and you had this and that. I'm like, if people knew that literally, and we did a little bit of the math on this, around 5% of my whole downline are people that I knew previously or people that I knew at all.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So 95% are people that have come in that you're like, I don't know them. They live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But then you become like, they become family and it's just.
But that's what I love. Yeah. It's not who you start this with. It's who you meet along the way. That's so powerful.
Right. But that community is really, really fun. Really, really fun. That's probably why I'm in this. I just haven't seen that type of community anywhere else.
What about like the leadership and the like corporate level of the culture or even the founders? Like what stands out to you the most?
I mean, I love that they came out of retirement. I think that's huge, right? Like that they already made their money and they were like, we want to see the very best products. I mean, all the third-party testing, all of that's huge. A lot of companies aren't doing that. I love that it's literally, there's no way to hurt anyone. And that's what's amazing is that they're such a confident company that they're like, have whatever you want, eat the whole, your whole package. And if you don't think it's amazing, you get all your money back. And that part to me is just, that's what took me from like, I'll look at the business to like, wait a minute, I actually want to do this because I like people being satisfied and I would not, no matter what, I wouldn't want people going, it didn't work for me and thanks for hitting me up. Now I, spent $300 or $600, whatever this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, what's been your most like rewarding and fulfilling moment so far?
Tears from a school teacher, for sure. Just saying, hey, you don't understand. I know this doesn't sound like much, but $400 a week that's now come in has changed my life. You know, that's the stuff where I'm like, this is awesome. Like I love the weight loss and I love the lean muscle gain, but for me, I haven't had much weight loss in my life. And you know, the lean muscle gain is just a little bit like, okay, good for you, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I always say. It doesn't change your life if you haven't been there, right? So like the emotional attachment that I watch people have with Isabody at events that have lost weight, it's like they're crying.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm like, yeah, like good for Tom. Like this is awesome. And like good for Betty, right? Like this is so cool. And it's really moving, but it still doesn't touch me the same way that like somebody coming to me and going, this changed my life because now I have $1,600.
Yes.
Like that to me, it just touches me a different way. Where a lot of people, even people on my team are like, why are you so focused on the money? And I'm like, I think you're missing, right? Like, I just think you're missing the bigger picture. It's not about the shakes to me. Right?
I had someone say, I feel like you're all about like the numbers and the money. I'm like, well, why aren't you? Like the numbers, if we're going to impact world health, if we're going to be free people, like it comes in numbers. That means you have to impact a lot of people. And I believe the products change your health, the finances change your life. And when you can also understand that concept of, okay, well, if I just look at money as energy, then what am I doing to give back more? That's what it is. It's like, how are you going to contribute back more in a different way, or like your family or your friends or other ways in your life? That's what's so powerful too.
Agreed. Absolutely.
What does like financial freedom actually mean to you?
There was a post the other day by Eric Miller, I think. I might be messing his name up, but here, I'll read it to you.
Okay.
I was just looking at this a little bit ago and I was like, that is exactly what it's about to me.
Is it someone that's in Isagenix?
Yeah, Eric Miller. He said, if Shannon and I completely stopped building our business today, we'd still make an income every month that many people would dream of. And he said, I'll repeat that. We stop working. We continue to get paid every week. That's straight residual income. Right? And that to me is what financial freedom is if you have from now till the end of time, whatever your number is, I don't know if you have, if you have 5 kids, if you have all these bills or you've got other companies, whatever that is. For me right now in my life, for what I'm doing, if I had $10,000 coming in every week, no matter what, I feel like I would be pretty good to go, right? Like your bare necessities, everything's taken care of, even probably 5,000-6,000 every week. Like that's 20K a month. I mean,
imagine the stress you just don't feel stress,
Yeah. So that's why I knew that shifting from business to business to losing my, taking my percentage and losing my salary at one of my nightclubs, right? Then you're like, oh wait, there goes that, right? Now I've got to make that up. And so I tried to do that with solar and I started doing that with other things. And then I'm like, why don't I just make something where I now have that safety net. And that's where Isagenix just came right in at the right time. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Here's my safety net. If I can get this mowing to 5,000, 6,000 a week, now it's like that to me is financial freedom. Yeah.
Well, and people don't think like that. They think of where am I at and where am I going to be in like the next year, not what am I actually working toward in 10 years from now? Yep. I'm like so vision. I'm like, I'll make sacrifices now, but I care so much about the next 40 years of my life.
Same. And I think that's really important. Yeah, I've been there.
What do you like? And I love that Eric Coover is very like this too, is probably especially from PETA, but like, so everyone's so passionate about, you make a lot of money, you become very successful in this company, but then what do you do next and how are you contributing or what are you creating from it? For you personally, like what do you want to create after this or from this that will leverage other things in your life? What's important to you?
So I love like Lewis Howes, Chris Harder, the Pencils of Promise. Like a lot of people have different things that they do. And to be honest, I haven't been there yet. You know what I mean? Like it was funny. I was talking to a friend recently and he does very, very well. He's Entrepreneur of the Year in Colorado. And he was telling me, he's like, I still think your vision's too small. He's like, even if you're making 600,000 a year, are you really impacting the world?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow. I'm not saying I'm making 6,000 a year yet. I'm just saying, right, if my vision was that. Um, and, uh, and yeah, that really hit me.
With that, what do you do next? Because it comes with influence, it comes with the following, it comes with the money that it is. It's like, now what? You know, you're not going to, knowing you, I know you're not going to sit back and go retire on the beach.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't know what that is yet, but it definitely is. I mean, have you ever just given back like that? And I love that. And yeah, I think that's almost like it's, people say that it's giving, but it's almost selfish because the way you feel after you give like that
Yeah.
is pretty incredible. What about you? Like, do you have anything that you already have planned? Like, that's awesome. You already have that on the vision board and you're like, this is what I want.
I know it'll evolve over time for sure, but like more than anything right now, I want to hand my dad a check for $100,000 because he's still working. Like, he has a very successful graphic design company, but he's still working, and I know he's ready to retire. And I know by the time I'll probably make it, like he's already ready. But I just want to be like, thank you so much. And I know your family's so important to you too, so you get it. Like, I just want to give them all that money and be like, I don't care what you do with it. Just go enjoy retirement and have so much fun. Go live on a golf course for the rest of the year and just have fun because you've supported my vision and everything. And they were so supportive when I like left my job to do this, and they just believe in me so much. So that's a big one. I want to invest in Red Rocks Church. I want to open another location somewhere, because I think what they're doing is so powerful and they're going to change the world. So it's like, I would love to own like a location. And just stuff like that, like different types of investments for sure. Real estate investment, that kind of stuff.
Got it. I like it. You have a plan, and I like that.
Yeah.
Solid.
What do you think, let's be real, because I think sometimes it's great to cast these big visions for people, but what do you feel like has been the most frustrating part, and how have you overcome it?
Frustrating part is people getting so excited but not following through. So instead of going, hey, like a marriage, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to put in the work, and I'm going to go to this, whoever. If my wife wants me to go to a psychologist, I'm going to go do it because I love her, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have problems, you work through it. And people want to treat this like a hobby, but get paid like a full-time business. And then they get really upset when they're not getting paid like they thought they should.
But not putting the work in.
But not putting the work in. And like, I'll hold back, but it's really frustrating. And to me, I'm like, aren't you a little bit embarrassed that you got so excited for 2 months
and made it public
and said, this is what I'm doing. And you know what I mean? It's like, and then you just go, it didn't work, but you never went to an event. You never learned. Like, imagine being like trying to be a realtor and you don't go to any seminars. You don't go to, and yet you expect like, it's
you walk in a house and buy. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What I'm trying to get people away from, Lauren, is the warm market BS where they go through and they sign up their mom, their dad, their sister. That's what gives network marketing a bad name. Mm-hmm. That's what gives them a bad name, because of course those people are going to support you.
Yep.
Right. But then if you don't want to, if you don't want to learn the skills, then don't even start.
Exactly.
You know, like, unless you just want your products paid for and you're not trying to do the business, then cool. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you're really trying to do the business and you think you're going to do that by signing up 3 or 4 of your friends, mm-hmm. and then you don't put any other work in, don't even do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is like, share with a couple of people if you just want your products paid for, but then it's like also us as leaders too, and anyone watching that's like stepping into those leadership roles, this comes with the business. So for starters, it's us blessing and releasing, because I think it's so easy to be like, oh, and get frustration and let it affect us. But we have to remember, like, bless and release, meet people where they're at. But then really invest in the people who are showing up, that get on every single call, that are so consistent and truly just show up to this, because it's a very fine, like, it's like black and white with these people, you know?
Yeah, they stick out like sore thumbs for sure. Yeah. The people that want to run are amazing. I'm super thankful for the people that are just like, they're there when you need them. And it's funny because most of my really rock solid people are people that are very busy.
Yep.
And the people that aren't just have mad excuses.
That's my frustration is when people say I'm too busy, and I'm like, I built this part-time, building a massive company, working 8 hours a week, and I found time to weave this in part-time to leverage me to leave a year and a half later. Like, let's not talk about busy, you know? And I know my story is different than their story. That's different from another person. Everyone's busy, but it is, if you truly want change, then you're going to make the time to do it. And those are the people that in a couple of years from now are going to be in a completely different place.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So well, wait, before I go into that, what's the best advice that you've been given by one of the leaders in our company?
Chris Harder told me recently, he said, too many people try to turn into this really great leader instead of continuing to enroll. Mm-hmm. And so he said, you got to lead from the front. And I totally agree. But yeah, you can get stuck in coaching mode. I've done it where you're like, I've got a great team right now. I'm just going to focus on them. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it can slow down and then you're kind of like, wait, where I think you can raise a lot of people if you're leading from the front. And they're like, man, if he can do it, I know I can do a third of that. Mm-hmm. Right. Or maybe I can do that. And so everybody's challenged differently. And also the last little piece of advice that I'll give is be okay with knowing that people won't think like you. Mm-hmm. You know, like that was really hard for me in relationships and in everything. Like, wait a minute, why doesn't that matter to you like it does to me? You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like, wait, you have your own mind. And so you might be at a different place where, you know,
interpret totally different. Yeah.
You just don't like, one of the biggest people in network marketing, biggest income earners, he said the way that he got there was he gave every single person that he enrolled the color test of what their personality is.
Yeah, we do that.
Because then, do you really?
Yeah. So you know how to lead them because people are motivated so differently. What are you?
I'm a red blue. Yeah. Like I'm a blue red. So I care enough because I'm not gonna step on heads to get on top.
Yeah.
Because a red is just like, I'm going to win. Like, I'm going to win no matter what. I don't care. I'm just going to win, you know? And so for me, I think the blue of like the caring part. But what are you?
I'm a blue as a kid and a red as an adult. I did it both ways. So I'm same thing, blue, red. But I have a lot of yellows. And I'm just very different than a yellow. And so it's just a totally different approach that's very different for me, where I have to remember not to be so direct and make it more fun for them. Yeah. Because especially stylists, a lot of stylists that I work with are all yellows.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think yellow and white are the hardest for me to relate to. White is the hardest because they just want to analyze it. Mm-hmm. And I want you to jump. And when they're like, okay, well, I think okay, can you send me a little more? Okay, can you send me a little more training? And I'm like, honey, we're 3 months in.
You're done.
Yeah, like, I mean, you either need to go to a conference, you need to make it somewhere and then they just
you need to bring that white to the side of the edge of a pool or a lake and just push them in.
Seriously. So
that's funny. Okay, so we're like, our team right now is doing a 90-day challenge with law of attraction and manifesting. So we went back to the basics of like Bob Proctor's, like make your A list and your B list and burn the B list or burn the A list, all that. But we're all about like law of attraction. And what are you, I assume you are, but like, what are your daily rituals and how do you incorporate the law of attraction and mindset into your business and your life?
Nice. So the biggest thing for me is I have to be clear, like for the day. Do you ever have those foggy days where you're just like, what is going on? Like I'm anxious or I'm right. Or like I've got to speak tonight and that's all I can think about. And I'm not really working during the day because I'm worried about that, you know, like whatever it is, or you have something in your life, right? I just have to be clear. So the first thing every morning, I'm so adamant about this, is I just pray for clarity for the people that are coming into my life and for my own clarity. Mm-hmm. But when I talk to you, it's not that you're in a hurry, you're in a rush. Like I want it to be like we're both really present, you know. So that's big. And that's honestly, Lauren, one of the biggest things we're working with is attracting a different type of person than I have been. Not saying that it's been bad at all. I've been blessed with some really cool people. But I think there's a difference in life between attracting somebody that's incredible, whether that's a relationship, right? Or taking what's coming in. Mm-hmm. right? Like, I'll take it.
Or
And
yeah, trying to find the good in it, what's coming versus getting clear on who it is.
yeah, and we attract who we are, right? And so I'm just trying to, I'm really working on everything. I'm trying to be as truthful as possible. I'm trying to be the best leader possible.
You're a really good leader. Like when I talk to you and you give, like, we go back and forth with like coaching and tips and stuff, like you're just a really, really good leader and you see the greatest potential in people. And I think you're so bold at letting people know that. It's really powerful to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't hold back. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that just making myself better. But I think that you also have to you have to be fishing in the right fish pools to attract the right people.
Yep.
You know, like you can't expect to attract, I mean, I'm a fisherman, so sorry for this analogy, but you can't expect to attract a marlin in a creek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A marlin's a huge ocean fish for any of you listening.
A big one.
Yeah, you know, it's the one on like the walls,
you
right?
Go to the creek that has them, is what you're saying.
Or you have to go to the ocean that has them.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's the same. Well, it's the same thing. Like with relationships, for example, like you can't say I want this person, but you're not that person. You have to become the person that person would be attracted to. That's not to change you, but it's like fall into that same category, same type of thing.
Right.
And attract these powerhouse leaders. Yes, you need to go to where are those leaders living, and are you up to that same, like, are you working on yourself so that you can be that leader that they need to?
Yep.
Okay, last things I want to answer, just give you some power questions. So it's first thing that comes to your mind. Cool. Favorite shake flavor?
Used to be strawberry, now it's chocolate. I'm obsessed. I don't get tired of it.
Do you add anything to it?
Nothing ever.
Okay.
Ice.
What's your favorite product?
The shakes, for sure. Just because of what it did for my body. So again, it's emotional for me, right?
Yeah.
Like for me to gain 20 pounds just because of the shakes and my other meals, like it just worked so well for me. I mean, I love the greens. I really like the brain boost, but I love the BCAAs, the recover, right? And now nitro is one of my favorite things. It still works for me. It's exactly what I need. I don't feel weird. I don't feel jittery. So those would be my go-tos. Now it just depends on who I'm talking to because I love the multivitamins, right? And I love the product B. Mm-hmm. So I would say those round them out.
Mm-hmm. I love product B.
But the shakes, like if I was on an island, they're like, you can have one Isagenix product, it'd be the shakes.
Okay. Favorite leader in Isagenix that you look up to?
That's good. Zach Slogan.
He's such a badass. They're such good teachers.
He's always on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
trainers.
I want to see them like have a bad argument and they're really like.
Oh yeah, I would want to see that actually.
Right, like I actually want to just see him be human for a little bit and just be like, oh, so you do screw up.
I think there's a lot of good leaders and then there's really good trainers, and he's a really, really good trainer. Like it's a beautiful gift. That's
what I'm working on, Lauren, is not. Because I've had people before say, well, I think you can do this, but I don't know if I can. So that tells me that I'm not training it simple enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So
go back to the basics.
Yeah, making it so basic. And he does a really good job of that.
Yeah. What's your favorite book?
Easy, Peaks and Valleys.
Oh, yeah, I saw you post about that on your Instagram. Is that a good one?
I always do. It's so good. I was reading a book a week for like all last year, and it was a lot. It was a lot coming in, but that'll keep you going. I mean, Peaks and Valleys is just great because you would think that the valleys would suck, but that's where you're really getting your gold.
Oh, 100%.
Nobody's looking for the gold in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my mom always said when I was growing up, and I never really understood why, I didn't care or wasn't really paying attention, but she'd always say, you don't learn anything when things are great. I was like, yeah, now that I'm older, I'm like, it's totally true. Like if you had all the money, and I think that's why a lot of people are depressed if they don't know their purpose,
mm-hmm.
right? Because it's like they get the money and then like things it seems super easy. Now life's kind of figured out, right? Maybe and then they're like, well, what's next?
Yep.
You know? So And like Isagenix will always be purpose to me because it's about someone else, not me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only way to be successful is making it about everybody else.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my questions on here, and that could be your answer, but what's the best advice you ever got from your parents?
Easy. My mom always also used to say, if you're having a bad day, go do something for somebody else and see what happens.
Totally. Yes.
Like, try to keep having a bad day if you put it in your mind that for no reason, not for money, not for just like do something for somebody else and see if your mood changes. And it's completely true. So I think it's self-focused and
what's your favorite podcast right now?
Oh man, me and Delroy just started one. So ours. No, I'm just kidding. I can't say that. I'm totally kidding.
What's it called?
Well, we don't actually have a name. The first we wanted to put, just because the lottery was around, and I said I don't want to win the lottery. So the name of the podcast was going to be why I don't want to win the lottery. But that was just one episode, right? Mm-hmm. So we need to get an actual podcast name. But just because I don't want to win the lottery because you lose out on the personal development. Mm-hmm. You don't go through the struggle like we just talked about to get there. Like, I'm a different man. You know this. I'm a way different guy than I was at 31. Mm-hmm. Way different. And that's only 4 years. Mm-hmm. But my 31 to 27 wasn't very different. My 27 to 23 wasn't very different. Mm-hmm. And that's, us men, we go a little bit later. And that's what I mean. So it's amazing growth the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
But For the Love of Money, Chris Harder, amazing. I really like Dax Shepard's podcast. It's hilarious and it's actually really, really good. Let's see. I really like Drama. This is the last one. I really like his podcast a lot. Aubrey Marcus has a great podcast.
Huh. Yeah. NYKO or Celebration?
Very different. Very different NYKO though. And everybody loves Celebration because everybody loves the dressing up and the gowns and like the gala and all that. And I get it. I do. I like NYKO because it's more teaching.
Me too.
You too?
Yeah.
Good.
More action items. I think you get more out of it versus just exciting stuff. Yeah. It's not less show and more teaching.
Yep, exactly.
Define freedom in one word.
Decisions. Yeah, decisions.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. And then the last thing is, what's one last thing you want to say? Like, what's one last thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, that's good. You don't have to do this full time. I think a lot of people think that they have to like leave their job, but you do have to care. So I think a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. They think that they need to leave that, and you don't. You get to a point where you've made enough money where you don't have to continue to be at the job that you were at.
Yep. Weave it in.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And when you make it about other people, you will naturally tell them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to stop the recording and I'll post in here too. If they have any questions, I'll circle back to you, but thank you. I'm going to stop the recording, but you can stay on. Hold on.